That's right. It's wonderful to be here with you. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, thank you. So she called me Ibi. You can all call me Ibi, but my full name is Ibiyinka. Can you all say Ibiyinka?
Ibiyinka.
So, how many of you in this school also named Ibiyinka? No way. It's a different sounding name. It comes from West Africa, from the Yoruba culture. In my culture, whenever a name is given to a child, it will have a meaning. So I was given Ibiyinka because there were many family members around the house when I was born. What it means in my life now is that as I travel around the world, there's family in everyone that I meet, that we all have a lot more in common that we have different from each other. As every name has a meaning, so does every artwork that comes from that part of the world. So I would give a chat or somebody, the flash drive has the PowerPoint. Thank you.
Eric's the head of IT, perfect person right in front of you.
Appreciate it. And, so it has a few files, and this one just says slideshow artist talk. All right. And so I will begin by telling you something that I shared with your colleagues on the other campus. You know, my work as an ambassador has to do with understanding cultures. You have to, when you travel around the world, you will notice certain things that are very different about people from where you are coming from. And I studied architecture in college. During my study of architecture, one thing we were all very fascinated with about you guys in America are the slangs that are used in this country. You guys, you know what I mean by slangs, right?
Yeah.
So we want to learn a lot of American slangs because when you talk to your friends and family and you use American slang, maybe on the phone or something, they kind of think you are cool because you're talking like an American. Unfortunately for me though, the first slang I picked up was a vulgar word, so it's not supposed to be used at all. And the reason I'm sharing this story with you, Chad did tell me yesterday that you are all righteous people here, and you never use vulgar words. Right? Anyway, so after I got to New York City, the first city I was sent to on assignment is located in the state of Indiana, and the city is called Indianapolis. So I went to represent the embassy in the Africa Unity Festival. I would listen to the people talk to each other. Anytime I saw them get mad at each other, either seriously or jokingly, I would hear them use this expression, "I'll kick your ass." I know you are all laughing because you never heard such word before, right?
Yeah.
I know this.
Oh, me.
Unfortunately, though, it was for a completely different reason for which I thought he used it, because growing up in Nigeria, the only word I'd ever interpret for me to mean ass was a small donkey. So I thought that was the origin of the expression. It made a lot of sense to me when I was in high school. We did a lot of American history, and we know that from your history, there were a lot of farmers that came to this country in the 17th, 18th, and 19th century. So I just thought that perhaps in those days, whenever one farmer got mad at another, what they would do is to jump over the other farmer's fence and go kick the donkey. Hence that expression that "I'll kick your donkey" as in "I'll kick your ass." So without any reservation, I started using it a whole lot, whether it was necessary or not. And anytime I said it, people just laughed. Nobody told me what it meant, which is a good lesson, because when you travel around the world, you see that people rarely ever try to correct you. They just laugh at what you say. So it's left to you to catch yourself, to try to correct yourself. And in my own case, I will use it every time, not only when it's necessary. It needs to be necessary before you say it, which means you need to be mad at someone. But in my own case, I will use it even as a greeting. I will see someone in the morning, I'll say, hey man, good morning, I'll kick your ass. So I'm glad we can all laugh about it. Then, I want you to know that it was really one of the most embarrassing experiences of my life. I even said it to the mayor of Indianapolis. Also, in Nigeria, if you call someone an ass, it's one of the biggest compliments you can give a person, because some of you that have traveled around, maybe if you have been to other English-speaking countries, you'll know this. An ass is the only animal that does its work honestly and never will ask for anything in return. So they use it a lot for public office holders to mean someone is very honest and committed to what they are doing. You'll see it in the newspapers, they will say she's an ass or he's an ass, to mean that this person is incorruptible. And I think that's why one of your political parties actually has an ass as its symbol in this country, right? Isn't it? So it is a sign of labor, of commitment. And you wonder, when did that expression change from being a compliment? In any case, isn't it so strange? Because all that happened to me was I traveled across the Atlantic Ocean, and the meaning of that word, that singular expression, changed completely, 180 degrees turn. In the one instance, it's a compliment. In another, it's an insult. As words and meanings can be so different, so can the meanings and interpretations of art. And one thing I want you to know is that we observe things that other people observe around the world. So we observe all this. So depending on where you are, out of respect for cultures, you observe what they observe. For example, the reason I will not use that expression anymore is not because it's right or wrong to me. From my own cultural experience, it just sounds funny when you hear it. But I refrain from using it out of respect for your culture. Now I know where I am. I know what it means in America. There are places you travel to where if you use your left hand, if you extend your left hand to shake, everyone withdraws from you because they think you are insulting them. While it might not make much difference to you in this country. There are places I've been to where I had to refrain from eating certain kinds of food out of respect for such cultures. What will help us to live more peacefully with each other around the world is that to respect each other at the point where we are. Not to think, not to be arrogant, not to think that why do these people think it's wrong to do this or that? If your friend tells you they don't like something, instead of trying to calculate why they are not right in thinking that they don't like it, why not just respect it? Because if you want to keep that friendship, you respect what they tell you. Maybe with time, you'll be able to teach them, you'll be able to show them why you feel it doesn't make much difference. Does it make sense to you? So it's really very important, and I know that we are all going to maybe become ambassadors. As I'm an ambassador, we are all already ambassadors here, because when we come to school, people look at us and they can tell what kind of homes we have come from. We become representatives for our homes. When we go to other schools, we become ambassadors for Hope Academy, New Hope Academy. When we go to other countries, we become ambassadors for the United States of America. So wherever we go, we try to be good ambassadors, we try to be good representatives. So that's what I'm saying. We are going to, anyway, when, because the presentation has to do with showing you some of these images. I will do a little workshop afterwards, which I'm very much looking forward to as well. Is this, you are from 10th grade to 12th grade? Or 6th grade, I'm sorry, yeah. 6th grade to 12th grade. That's great. I'll show you a picture that I made inspired by when I was in your age group as well. And if you have never done anything art before, okay, so I think it's this one. Slideshow, that's just that. What I'm wearing is called Barbariga. I know that some of you think I got it from Walmart, right?
I wish I could get those at Walmart.
No, if you go to Walmart to look for this, yeah, you won't find it. You have to come all the way to Nigeria. Aisle 3, right?
Put it on my tab.
It's very comfortable. That's why we wear stuff like this, because it gets very, very warm in Nigeria. And that's my bling. I know your talk. All right, so this first picture, thank you so much for sharing. And it's, so a lot of them are very colorful. This is because, again, we are closer to the equator. You sometimes feel as if you can touch the sun from that closeness. And we do have a lot of music in our artworks. The reason is we describe art as frozen music. So anytime you have a visual interpretation of art, we believe that there is that liquid, oh, thank you for doing that. So there's that which flows, and if art is frozen music, writing is the vaporized form of art. So we are going to look at those three today. Sometimes they are inspired by very simple things like that, the horse. So this is the front of my house in Nigeria, and it's an old retired horse that comes to drink water. One day I decided to paint a picture of him. So as you have lots of horses here, so you know, we do have back home as well. All good art can be said to have two sweeping characteristics. The first one is that it embodies a message within an idiom of communication that it tells a story from artist to the observer. If someone has never seen something before, we can articulate to the person what it looks like, or we can draw a picture. That way they know what we are talking about. The second characteristic is that all good art possesses mystery. And because of that mystery, religion, what people believe in, comes through in their art. No matter what, whether they are Christians, whether they are Muslims, whether they are Buddhists, just any religion. And because I'm raised a Christian, a lot of my pictures are inspired by biblical stories, apart from being inspired by that culture. So Peter is one of the disciples of Christ. They went out fishing all day. They were successful. So Christ comes and says, put your nets on the good side of the river. When they did that, they made a humongous catch of fish. I know maybe some of us have gone fishing here before. How many of us have ever gone fishing before? Very good. So many of us might be a lot more familiar with the fishing hook than the fishing net. In Nigeria, we use the net a lot. That's why you see use the fisherman and the net in this picture. So you try to tell stories according to what you are familiar with. Because the Quran and the Bible and a lot of the scriptures were written in very different cultural contexts, some things might be difficult sometimes when you are translating. For example, if you say, I will blot out your sins and they will become as white as snow. While you guys might understand that, or might be comprehensible to you, if you told a child in West Africa, white as snow, it's because they've never seen snow before. So how do you know it's white? How do you know whiteness of snow? And so because of that, you always try to bring things closer to their experience. I made this one in New York City, just about being homesick, and it's a picture of my village. That was the first year I experienced your winter here. Nigeria gets to be very warm. Since we are 14 degrees north of the equator, 120 degrees, 130 degrees sometimes. The coldest temperature we have is in the 60s, coldest temperatures. And when it's in the 60s, we all think we are going to die of cold. Well, in New York City, I discovered that most of you guys probably think it's nice when it's in the 60s, right? Oh, yeah. How crazy. So, in New York, though, it got to be so cold, 0 degrees. Can you imagine that? 0. But people still live there. So, well, I decided to create this picture because of that. I was thinking a lot about my hometown, the warmth of it. The women, they are pounding yam, they sing around the mouth as they do that. You have the thatch roof and the hut. The urgency of the sun I have shown with the yellow on the ground. So I'm going to show you the first exercise, which is I will teach you the kind of song that the women will be singing here. We are all going to sing together, and we are all going to dance to the music. Do you all know how to dance here?
Of course.
Yeah, so this is the exercise, because I will explain to you why we are doing it shortly afterwards. Now, I don't want you to do break dancing or disco dancing. I want you to do African dance. And all you have to do is just move to the music. Move freely to the music. If you are not dancing well enough, you know what I'm going to do to you? Yeah, if you are not dancing well enough, so I'm going to call you out to come and stand with me right here by yourself, and then you'll show us all how to do it. Yeah, do you know why I can do it? Because I'm an ambassador, I can do whatever I like in this country. I really will do it. So listen to the song and we'll sing along together. It goes like this. Ma ṣe kánjú jolúwa, ma ṣe kánjú jolúwa, ma ṣe kánjú jolúwa, ma ṣe kánjú jolúwa. Ilé ló fẹ́ ní láyé rẹ̀, ọmọ ló fẹ́ bí láyé rẹ̀, ìwé ló fẹ́ kà láyé rẹ̀, Èdùmàrè á ṣe ti ẹ̀dá nílẹ̀ ayé yìí. You all know that song? Yeah. I know, you are singing along with it. So just sing the chorus part, okay? Ma ṣe kánjú, so I'll sing it and then you repeat it, okay? Ma ṣe kánjú jolúwa. Ma ṣe kánjú jolúwa. Very good. Ma ṣe kánjú jolúwa. 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 You guys, you have so much reading here. So here, ma ṣe kánjú jolúwa. Fantastic. All right, so I'm going to use this drum. I know some of you know what a J-K drum is, right? All right. So this is the only kind of drum we have all over Africa, from North Africa down to South Africa. So you have it in West Africa, East Africa, and all. And I'm going to use it to do the demonstration. It's something that we start using right from when we are little, when we are just kids. And so that's how come you see that there's virtually no African that does not drum. And so I will show you now. And you just try to do the 3 activities together. You sing, at the same time you clap and you dance, okay? if you are coordinated. Are you coordinated? All right. So, just clap. Clap like this. At the same time, sing and dance, okay? Well, it's one of the strangest sights I ever saw. In this country, when they teach you to dance, is this how they teach you all sit down when you are dancing? Wow, wake up! Go! Obviously, you've never danced in your whole life before. See, stamp your feet like this. The thing with African dance, stand up, stand up. The thing with African dance is you have to move your whole body. And to move your whole body, see, stamp your feet as if you are marching. Like that. And then move your arms. Mashe kanju joluwa, mashe kanju joluwa, mashe kanju joluwa. Sit down, sit down. Give yourself a warm hand. You know, it's really impressive. I have to confess to you though, because a lot of help comes from Africa, especially from the United States, from you guys, from some of your parents, from your family. When you see children dying of famine, of hunger, of diseases and things like that, you do send, most of the help does come from the United States. So as an ambassador, I really do appreciate that. However, sometimes to make all those children really very happy, all those suffering, crying children, all you have to do is send them a video of a bunch of Americans trying to dance. And the sadness leaves them forever. So the reason I'm saying it to you is because just right now, I saw evidence of that. So some of you think you can dance, but you really can't dance. So here's the thing. Please, just know that you can be of benefit to humanity. Do not waste it. So try to get it on video, your inability to dance. Try to get it on video and send it to people that will enjoy it. I just really love it though, because you know the fact that you did demonstrate it. So when we are talking about art as frozen music, sometimes you can get to see the color in the movement of the people. You can get to see the action translate into what you are able to perceive visually. So always very important, because you understand the art are all related that way. Now, these last few pictures, I want you to look at this next one and tell me what you see because of the mystery. Open your eyes wide, tell me what you see. Yeah, very good. Do you see the giant foot right there?
Yes.
And the hand?
I see a person with a giant yellow door as a head.
Right there. Very good. Tell me, what do you see?
I see a lady with the foot over the water.
Very good. The woman here, why she's sad, and the men are making music beside her. You see her reflection as well. What more do you see? And the face, let me show you that. You see this palm tree carves out a forehead, and you have the blue wheel for the eyebrow, you have the eye, you have the nose, and you have the lip. Very good. And a similar face on the other side of the picture. You see that? Yeah. Excellent. Yes. Yes.
What's it called? What's the name of the painting?
Ajaga means you.
It's almost like a J.
Oh, really? What's your name?
Ajay.
Ajay. So does it have Yoruba roots? I will talk to you after about it anyway. Ajaga means you. And it's important to see the two faces in order to understand the meaning behind the picture. That's why we have a lot of proverbs and parables. We teach each other in words that way. If an older person or if somebody tells you there is light at the end of the tunnel, it doesn't usually mean you are passing through a physical tunnel. It might just be a word of hope, a word of encouragement. They are telling you that, don't worry, you are taking this test, and it may seem difficult to you right now, but it will come to an end, and you will have success at the end of it. So you think about it, you say, there's light at the end of the tunnel. So you're able to figure out what they are trying to tell you. As we have in words, so artists do that a lot. That's why you don't go to a museum and just run through all the pictures. If we take time to study the art, we'll be able to understand the meanings behind it. And as it happens in art, it happens in people. We say, do not judge a person by what you see on the surface. Always look inside. Character is mysterious. You can never see character by just looking at the face of a person. So take time to study people. Do not judge, without first getting to understand them. This is the one that won the award. So it chronicles, the original is at the United Nations headquarters in New York. It chronicles the life of a woman from infancy to old age and how her values keeps changing with time. From the little girl to the girl child to the adult woman to the mother to the grandmother and the great grandmother. Do we all see that? Yes. So the same girl as she's growing. The purpose of that all other values in life, they do vary, they change. One thing that remains constant is the value of love, that whatever we want, toys that we like as children, we may not like as much when we become adults. Some things we like as college students, maybe we don't like as much after college. The things just keep changing for us. The love remains constant. Yesterday, I gave the example of when I was a child myself. I used to have this dream that one day, my greatest dream as a child, about 7 years of age, was that one day when I became an adult and started working, all I was going to do with my money would be to build for myself a really huge mansion, and that all I was going to buy in that mansion would be candy. Now, as I said, you think it's funny, well, as an adult, I still love candy a whole lot, but I remember that in those days, I used to think my parents were just wasting money buying all these healthy things for us to eat at home. When they go to the market and buy vegetables and broccoli, tasteless stuff like broccoli, I used to think, why can't they just buy candy and we can all enjoy life? I thought, that made sense. So one of the things I really do enjoy about the United States of America, what I think that's why your country is so great, is because you have a lot of candy. And you actually have a day dedicated to candy. Carol and I were just talking about Halloween. So all the 28 countries I've been to, none other celebrates candy that way. Yeah, so I try to hang around until after Halloween before I go back home. But it would be crazy to use all your money to buy candy. That's what I mean by the diversity of life here. So I put them all on the red ground. To be able to love and love back in return is all that makes us different from the animals. So these last two pictures, I will just tell you about them because they are directly related to the workshop. And So, here, myself as an individual. This is a self-portrait. Does it look like me?
Yeah.
Hopefully not. You might be able to tell some similarities from if you are good at rotating images. However, if you have a friend that looks like this, won't you tell them to go get plastic surgery? It looks like we're more in character than physically. When you paint a picture of yourself, you really are painting character. An artist is a person with a hole in his or her heart that is equal in size to the entire universe without him or her. Listen, an artist is a person with a hole in their heart that is equal to the entire world outside of them. Every time I paint a picture, all I'm trying to do is to feel this emptiness in my heart. Some people do this by becoming engineers. Some people do this by becoming farmers or teachers or physicians, just any profession. For some people, the only way they can feel the emptiness in their heart is if they become the president or king or queen of a nation. Some people just smile. So we all have these various means that we feel that hole. I do this by becoming an artist. That's why in this picture, the left eye is shown to be dark to show that hole. The right eye is turned upside down to show a different view of the world. The light in terms of which I think. As I travel around the world, I still think in terms of the light of West Africa. Do you notice the painting brush in this picture? Mm-hmm. So I have the painting brush in my ear. I listen to the world with the aid of the painting brush. Why it's so important for me to share this with you is because when I was your age, I used to have a really great weakness. And my greatest weakness then was to be able to do this very thing I'm doing this afternoon, to talk in front of a group of people. So I used to be a very taciturn kid, and whenever I was asked to read a story to my classmates, you know, in front of a class like this, I just used to be very afraid. I would fidget a lot. I couldn't ever do it. What helped me was that my teacher, she would say, if I cannot talk about something, I should just draw or paint a picture about it. So that's why I have so many paintings today. Instead of articulating things, I will paint a picture. It used to be that I did it out of necessity. Little did I know that one day I was going to win the first place in the whole wide world. Doing that thing that this teacher just said, do it if you cannot talk. So our weaknesses do become our strength. In fact, our greatest weaknesses are our greatest strength. So they are just two sides of the same coin. When we are weak, then we are strong. So some of us might not have that kind of weakness. Maybe it takes a different dimension for some of us. But I do want you to know that it is really a blessing to be in a school like this, as you all are. Because there are many children that wish that they can go to school, as you are. We don't just have the opportunity. When you are in school like this, you get the opportunity not only to discover your strengths, but to discover your weaknesses. I want you to know that when you do discover your weaknesses, you have also discovered your strength. They are two sides of the same coin. Look at me, am I not actually talking in front of you guys now? Isn't it an irony that I'm talking to you about those very pictures I made in the first place because I could not talk in front of people? And that's how life plays you sometimes. They give all these speeches at the United Nations and things. And every time I'm by myself, I always think that just a few years ago, I couldn't ever do this. But you know, that's the thing, that always cherish your weaknesses so that you can convert them to your strength. The last picture is called True Miracles, and it's inspired by the life of an oyster. So I use this a lot on the United Nations in peace peace building. So you asked me that, what does it mean to be an ambassador for the arts? What does it mean to build peace through arts and diplomacy? What is the relationship? This picture is inspired by the life of an oyster. Yeah, you all know what an oyster is, right?
Yes.
What is the most extraordinary thing about an oyster?
Inside.
Shell of pearl, very good. Well, you're pretty close because you get it from the shell. Let me tell you the story this way. The most extraordinary thing about an oyster is this, that irritations get into its shell. The oyster doesn't like the irritations, but when it sees that it cannot dispose of the irritations, it chooses it to do the loveliest thing an oyster ever has the chance to make. It makes a pearl. That if there are irritations in our lives, there's only one prescription to make the pearl. You may have to be a pearl of patience with a lot of love poured into it, but in any case, make a pearl. And it takes a lot of hope, faith, and love to do this. That sometimes to know anything about ourselves truly, or about a divine being, all we have to do is to look at the oyster, because even though it lives deep, deep under the ocean, when we do bad things, if it's a God or if it's another person that is more powerful, maybe they can destroy us all. But if they do not do that and forgive, all they are doing is making pearls out of us. Now, I know that you guys have no clue what I'm talking about because you are all perfect people and you don't have any irritations in your lives.
Yeah.
So I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about people who live in Philadelphia. And you get my point, right? That if we do bad things, maybe somebody can destroy us. If we don't do that, forgive, they really just are making pearls out of us. Irritations come in different ways. For the oyster, they are actually dirt particles that enters its shell deep under the ocean. Those dirt particles, which it doesn't like, it does not waste its entire life trying to discard of them. It just keeps pouring enzymes, which I know you take some biology. In your biology classes, you learn that those enzymes are very precious to the animals that secrete them. It's like love to people. What this oyster does, it keeps pouring all its precious love on top of these things that are hurting it. But at the end of the day, when we open the shell and we take out the pearl, it's so beautiful and so precious. And little do we know it comes from the ugliness it's coming from. As the oyster has irritation, so can people. Sometimes things can irritate us, sometimes people can irritate each other. And a castle, you have no clue what I just said, right? Because I just said something to you in Yoruba, which is one of the languages I speak. I speak 14 languages, and the last language I learned is this very English I'm speaking to you. I want you to know that when I was learning English, it was probably the greatest irritation of my life. However, I'm thankful that I learned it because when I was appointed an ambassador, it was the first question that my president asked me, whether I can communicate effectively in English. If I cannot, there's no way I would be doing this with you if I cannot speak English. So some things we think they are irritations when we are passing through them. Some people told me yesterday that brothers and sisters can irritate each other, right? There you go. Sometimes friends can irritate each other. Sometimes, I know it never happens here, but maybe students do irritate teachers sometimes, right? Sometimes, maybe even teachers irritate students, who knows? However, what do you do when somebody irritates you? Two things, either irritate them back or forgive like the oyster. Just know that as future leaders of the world we live in, you guys, your most potent power might not just be having the money to do things you want to do, or the military parts to do things you want to do. It might just be having the ability to forgive somebody else that has hurt you before. That way you save a lot of lives. All right, so this has been really precious for the last 1 minute now. I'm going to show you what this original piece of my artwork looks like. And in order to show you, do you want to see?
Yes.
So in order to show you, I will need maybe 5 people to help me hold it.
I know, but it's from a distance, then it kind of... In there.
Thank you so much. So I wanted to show you this one. Thank you so much. I wanted to show you that you guys are so kind here.
Can we have pictures of
I
all
wanted to
this?
show you
No
this original
pictures?
so you see the difference between the projection and the original. In the original, that's why the artists, a lot of times they will say they prefer you to see the original colors. It's a lot brighter, and when you come from West Africa, you are sometimes thinking about those bright, fluorescent colors, those powerful colors, joy, and all those things. Of course, hopefully, this is not the way you see the sky. You see the sky like this, you need to go to a doctor. If you look towards that side, you'll notice the needle sewing together different pieces of the fabric. So, like the narrative of the oyster, our story comprises different pieces. Some of it is new, some of it is old. Then at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what constitutes each individual part of a poet. What matters is the poet itself. So that no matter what happens to us, just endeavor to tell your story. Notice the monarch butterfly. We don't have that at home. I put it in my picture because I saw it the first time I came here. And can you give them a warm hand for holding it up for us? So, any general questions regarding the presentation? Yes, sir.
How young were you when you painted your first?
Oh, I think maybe I was, what I remember, I was about 7 years of age. Yes. Oh, this particular one, it took about 4 months. And it's maybe working about 3 to 7 hours a day. So during the workshop, if you have any other questions, feel free. And I will put this last slide. You can write this down as I showed the guys from yesterday. So I know that some of you in high school or some of the staff maybe use, thank you so much. So maybe you use email or Facebook and those kind of things. So you can write, that's the correct spelling of my name. We can become friends, you can connect with the page, I like it, and feel free to ask me questions. In fact, I got some questions already from your colleagues from yesterday. So if you use Facebook, we become friends. I hope you post intellectual things and not just say, I just woke up this morning. Otherwise, I befriend you.
Hold on.
We were just talking.